Hey everyone, welcome back. So in today's video, we're going to deal with a pretty common but really frustrating situation: losing photos from a hard drive. And I know how stressful this can feel. Maybe you deleted them by accident while cleaning up files. Maybe you formatted the wrong drive without thinking twice, or maybe your external hard drive or internal disk suddenly stopped showing files and your photos just disappeared. And the worst part is, these are usually not just random files. They're often important memories, family photos, travel pictures, or even work-related images you can't easily replace. So your first reaction might be panic or thinking everything is gone forever. But there is something important I want you to understand right away. In most cases, those photos are not immediately destroyed when you delete them. What actually happens is that the system just marks the space as available, and the files stay there until something new overrides them. So, if you stop using the drive quickly and take action, there is actually a pretty good chance you can recover a lot of those photos. Now, let's go step by step and look at all the methods you can try. Method number 1, check the recycle bin. Don't skip this. Alright, I know this sounds too basic, but seriously, don't skip it. If your photos were deleted while the hard drive was connected to a computer, there is a very good chance they were just moved to the recycle bin instead of being permanently erased. So, here is what you do. Go to your desktop and double-click the recycle bin. Once it opens, don't rush. Just take a moment and scroll through, or use the search bar if you remember your file names, or even just JPG or PNG. If you find your photos there, the process is super simple. Just select the files, right-click and click Restore, and that's it. Windows will automatically put them back to their original location. Honestly, I've seen a lot of cases where people panic, but the files were sitting in the recycle bin the whole time. So always check this first. Method number 2, use file history or backup if you had it enabled. Now, if the recycle bin is empty, the next thing we want to check is whether Windows has a backup. This only works if you had file history or Windows backup turned on before the data loss happened. So here is how you check. Search for Control Panel. Once you're in the Control Panel, look for File History, or now open it and look for an option that says something like Restore Personal Files. Click on that, and Windows will show you a timeline or folder view of backed up files. Now just navigate to the folder where your photos used to be. You might see older versions of the folder. When you find what you need, you can preview it. Select the photos and click Restore. And Windows will bring them back to your system. This method is actually really powerful, but the key limitation is that it only works if backup was enabled beforehand. Method number 3, use previous versions in Windows. Now, here is a feature a lot of people don't even know exists. Windows sometimes automatically saves older versions of folders, especially if system protection is enabled. So let's try that. Go to the folder where your photos used to be stored. If it was on a drive, just open the drive and find the parent folder. Then right-click the folder and select Properties. At the top, you'll see a tab called Previous Version. Click on it, and now you might see a list of folder versions of that folder, each with a date. If you're lucky, one of those versions will be from before your photos were deleted. Click Restore. Just like that, Windows rolls the folder back. It doesn't always work. When it does, it feels pretty much as magic. Method number 4, use free photo recovery software. Alright, now we're getting into the more powerful methods. If Windows built-in options didn't help, we need to use recovery software. There are a few good free tools out there, like Drecov, PhotoStrack, and TestDisk. Let me explain how this usually works in a simple way. First, you download and install one of these tools on a different drive, not the one you lost files from. That's very important, obviously. Then you open the software and select your hard drive, the one where the photos were deleted. After that, you usually choose a scan type. If you see something like deep scan, go for that. Now, here is the part that takes some time, the scanning process. The software will go through your drive sector by sector, looking for recoverable files. When it's done, you can usually filter results by file type, so you can select images only, like JPG, PNG, or RAW files. Then you can preview the photos, which is super helpful, because you don't want to recover random corrupted files. Once you find what you actually need, just select them and recover to a different drive. This method is very effective, especially for recently deleted photos. Method number 5, use Drecov for deep photo recovery. Now, if you've tried everything so far and you still can't find your photos, this is where we move to a more advanced solution. At this point, I usually recommend using a professional recovery tool like Drecov. This tool is built for deeper data recovery situations, especially when normal tools just fail. How to use it? Step by step, but super simple. First, open Drecov on your computer. When you get to the main screen, you will usually see different recovery modes. Look for something like Photos Recovery or Partition Deep Scan mode, then click that, then select the hard drive where your photos were originally stored. After that, you just click Start Scan. Now this part takes a bit of time depending on the size of your drive, so just let it run. What's happening in the background is the software is scanning raw data and trying to rebuild lost file structures, even if Windows no longer recognizes them. Once the scan finishes, you'll see a list of recoverable files. And here is the good part. You can actually preview the photos before recovering them, so you can make sure they're exactly what you're looking for. Then just select the photos you want, click Recover, and choose a safe location like another drive or external storage. And that's it. Why Drecov is useful here? Compared to free tools, this one is especially useful when photos were deleted a long time ago, the drive was, for example, formatted completely, the file system is corrupted, or other tools didn't find anything. That's also pretty normal. The key advantages are super simple. Deep scan that goes beyond normal file recovery, supports common image formats like JPG, PNG, and even RAW. Previewing before recovery so you don't guess, and easier interface compared to technical tools, so when everything else fails, this is usually the last and most effective option. Alright, that's everything for today's tutorial. Just remember one very important thing. When you lose photos, try not to keep using the drive too much, because every new file you save could override the deleted data and make recovery absolutely impossible. So the best approach is always stop using the drive, then try recovery as soon as possible. And if this video helped you out, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future tutorials. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.